Super Mayhem.
Hello friends, it's Tim here again from Super Mayhem. Oh! And boy howdy, do we have some fun game hacking action for you today. So in this addition to our Game Genie Hijinx series, we're going to take a look at that awesome second addition to the Mortal Kombat franchise, which is Mortal Kombat 2 on the SNES. And well, there are a ton of interesting cheats and Game Genie codes for us to take a look at. Just make sure you're using the original version 1.0, otherwise a lot of these cheats won't work. Having said that, if you're a fan of the Mortal Kombat series in any way, shape or form, then please do hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Also subscribe and ring the bell if you're new to the channel, so that you can see new videos like this one when they come out. And with all that done, let's go on with the show. As always, we will ease into this list with some default codes, such as the incredibly awesome cheat code DDB5-1FF7, which is the one you all came to see. That's right, this time the actual Galoob Essential is actually one of the best codes you can have in this game. Player 2 or the CPU dies in literally one hit. Go small punch to victory, or humiliate them with a light kick to death, and then finish them off before the health bar even gets to 0. I can't believe this is a standard code. Usually this comes in the form of some weird 5-line cheat that someone on the internet has found. But here it is. Video done. Nah, just kidding, keep watching, the cheats get weirder. If you want to take this to the other extreme and make the game a whole lot harder, then the cheat code DDB1-1FF7 is the one for you. This is essentially the opposite of the first code, where you'll actually die in one hit when player 2 or the CPU hits you. This is super hard mode for anyone that thinks they are a Mortal Kombat king. You can make this a bit easier using the code C2C4-47AA, which is meant to give you infinite continues. So if you want to keep trying to beat the game whilst pulling your hair out, then these two codes are definitely for you. Another awesome default Game Genie code is C2B1-14F7, which makes it so player 1 is invincible. That's right, you can take as much of a beating as you want with this code, you weirdo. It's actually quite funny to see the CPU just beating the crap out of you, and your health bar stays the same. The only enemy here is time, if you are super bad at the game. But if you can't get at least one hit in with this cheat enabled, within the time limit, you probably shouldn't be playing Mortal Kombat 2 anyway. Oh, and on a side note, if you want to have infinite time, you can use another simple default code, that is 6DC7-1DAA, and you won't have to be watching that clock anymore. There are other default continued codes like DF8C-CDDA, which starts you off with 0 continues, all the way to DB8C-CDDA, to start the game with 8 continues. Not much else to say about these ones except they can make the game easier or harder for you. When you are in one player mode, there are a number of different codes that make it so you only play against one specific character. An interesting one is CBC6-3D6E plus DEC6-3DAE. With this cheat enabled, you will only fight against Noob Sabot. And man, this guy is not mucking around, he owned me so bad it's embarrassing. Other interesting characters are Smoke, which is the 2-line code CBC6-3D6E plus D3C6-3DAE. And you can even fight against Shao Kahn right away by entering the 2-line code CBC6-3D6E plus D2C6-3DAE. Surprisingly, I actually did a lot better against Shao Kahn compared to Smoke or Noob. I think it is because he spent more time mocking me than fighting me. Or maybe I'm just super pro, we will never know. There are also bunches of interesting default codes that increase certain players' damage when they perform certain moves. In this example, the code 06E9-1DD7 will massively increase the damage of Liu Kang's high fireball, which is a simple forward high punch. If you can get it in before Scorpion kicks your butt first, that is. In another poor example by me, you can try the code 06E4-34DF, which makes Raiden's lightning bolt do huge damage. Once the code is entered, just select Raiden and then press down forward low punch. Or the good old quarter circle forward low punch, as we used to say in the old days. If you can pull this off, it does some big damage, even if I eventually died. I won't go into all of these codes, but they do exist and they can be a bit of fun. Now we will check out some non-default codes, and we will start off with FFC2-1F6A, which is an absolute classic. All you have to do is win one round, using the old trip till you win trick will do it, of a game, and then you will have completed the game. This way you can see the entire ending of the game, the details of your hero you won with, and all the characters, and then of course the development team. If you have never beaten the game before, this is a sweet cheat code to check out. The Game Genie code 88E9-44B7 is super weird. For some reason this sends both players to the far left of the screen, where you will both get stuck and kind of have to fight it out in the corner. This turned pretty buggy though. When I did the slide kick thing with Sub-Zero, it seemed to make the game get stuck in a loop. The timer still went down, but we both kept glitching. Weird code, man. Speaking of weird codes, try out 2469-340F, which completely scrambles up the characters, not only on the character select screen, but also during the fight. Unfortunately again, this glitched too badly and started flashing black, and I couldn't progress, but hey, this is Game Genie stuff, you're bound to get glitchy at some point. Another weird but cool code is 5DBC-3D6E, which really messes up the order of who wins the match of a round. For a start, player 1 will always win the first round no matter what. Then whoever wins the second round actually wins the entire match. This gets weirder though, because even if player 2 or the CPU wins the second round, player 1 will have the finishing move. Then promptly after hitting the player 2, you will fall to the ground and player 2 is announced the winner. Weird cheat, but hey, it's a bit of fun. If you want to have a super even match, then why not try the code CFE4-44B7. With this baby in play, both fighters are invisible. This makes for a really interesting game as you are never quite sure of where you are. I somehow managed to win the first fight, but after that Johnny Cage smashed me good. Give this one a try, it might be fun to gamble on or something. And finally, the last two codes relate to fatalities, which are always a fun part of the Mortal Kombat series. The first code is 5EC2-CF02, which gives you an amazing 127 times the normal amount of time for fatalities, which is super handy if you're trying to test some out. The second code is CDEE-1F0A, which claims to give you awesome fatalities, so you know this is going to be good. I only really tested this out with Reptile, as I know one of his fatalities offhand is back down B, and well, I wasn't super impressed with it, but it may depend on the character and the choice you make for your fatality. It definitely was different than the normal version of the fatality, but was it awesomer? No, I don't think so. I also tried with a couple of other characters with various results. With Shang Tsung, using his fatality just holding X for 2 seconds and then releasing, when using the awesome fatality code, it seems like the first part of the fatality is just gone, and the opponent just bursts into a pile of bones. It's better than Reptile's, but I think I still prefer the original, without the so-called awesome fatality code. Finally, when using Liu Kang and his dragon fatality, we got something a bit different, and actually quite cool. Instead of turning into a dragon and biting the opponent in half, he seems to summon some Kung Lao action and saws the player 2 in half. This one is actually pretty cool. And the last one I looked at was Johnny Cage's first fatality, which had some weird effects as well. With the awesome fatality code enabled, he seems to channel Raiden or something, and instead of ripping the opponent in half, he sort of zaps them with a ball of electricity or something? Weird code, man. Anyway, give it a try with other characters and see what you can get happening. I'm sure you will have a blast. Anyway, that's it from me today. I do hope you enjoyed hacking Mortal Kombat 2 on the SNES with me. If you did, then please hit that like button to help the channel out, subscribe, and also ring the bell to get updates of more videos like this one. And if you really like the mayhem and what I do, then why not take a look at our join button or Patreon page below and help fund future videos. I didn't cover every single cheat of this game, but there are lots of codes that just affect certain players, certain moves, but I feel like we took a good look at some fun codes. I hope you agree. Anyway, that's it from me, I'll see you soon.